Everything you need to know about economy. Section 1. What is economics? Vocabulary, economics. Economics is a noun. It is the study of how people make, earn, and spend money. Section 2. What are the different types of economies? Vocabulary, market, command, traditional, mixed. There are three main types of economies that we're going to study this year: traditional, command, and market. There are three questions that we're going to answer about each of these economic systems. What goods and services do they produce? How do they produce goods and services? And for whom do they produce goods and services? For the traditional economic system, all of those questions are going to be answered by customs and traditions. What goods and services do they produce? Whatever tradition tells them to make, whatever their parents or grandparents made before them. How do they produce these goods and services? However tradition tells them to make it, however their parents and grandparents made them before. And for whom do they produce goods and services? Whoever tradition tells them to make them. Those people around them, they trade and barter their goods with people who make different goods. We do not see traditional economic systems in huge countries today. We mainly see it in small villages or tribes around the world. Command. In a command economic system, all of the questions are going to be answered by the government. What goods and services do they produce? Whatever the government tells them to make. How do they produce goods and services? However the government tells them to make them. For whom do they produce goods and services? Whoever the government tells them to make it for. So the government makes all the decisions. For a market, all of the questions and all the decisions are going to be answered with citizens. So the citizens decide what goods and services to produce. It's all about supply and demand. Whatever that the citizens demand, whatever the citizens want, is what the companies will supply. So when demand for an item goes up, supply will go up to match the demand. How do goods and services get produced? However the citizens want to make it. For whom do they produce the goods and services? Whoever the citizens want, mainly different groups of citizens. A mixed economy is an economic system that combines command, which is government control, and market, which is citizen freedom. So the mix of command and market together makes a mixed economy. Most of the countries in the world today have a mixed economy. For example, the US has a mixed economy because we do have some government control. We have laws about what we can buy, or maybe a certain age that you have to be to buy something. But we also have a market, which we have citizen freedom, because citizens can make their own companies, they can sell their own items. So we have a mixed economy here in the US. Section 3. What makes a good economy? Vocabulary. Gross domestic product, GDP, GDP per capita, literacy rate. Gross domestic product is the final amount of all goods and services produced in a country in 1 year. It tells us how rich or how poor a country is. So you want a high GDP because that means that your country makes a lot of money. GDP per capita, which is GDP per person, is the amount of the average person makes in a year. So it's GDP divided by the number of people in the country. So you also want a high GDP per capita because it means the average person makes a lot of money. The higher the GDP per capita, the higher the average salary is per person. Literacy rate. Literacy rate is the percentage of adults in a country who are able to read and write. You want a high literacy rate because it means you have educated people in your country. And educated people can make more money for your country, which makes your GDP higher. Section 4. How can a country make money or increase their GDP? Vocabulary. Invest, human capital, physical capital, entrepreneurs, natural resources. There are 4 main ways for a country to make money or increase their GDP. They can invest in human capital, which is their people. They can invest in physical capital, which is machines. They can invest in entrepreneurs, ideas, or invest in natural resources, nature. To invest means to put your money or time or resources into something, expecting to get your money back out or get some kind of profit or get something back out of it. So when you invest something, you put your money, time, and resources into it, expecting to get something out. So the first way is investment in human capital. When you invest in humans, workers have education and training and are healthy and have safe working conditions. So you spend money to educate or to train your employees, you spend money on their healthcare, or you spend money on safe working conditions. If you do all that, your workers are able to make more and better goods and services, which means more products are made and sold, and international trade increases, which means GDP goes up. So when you invest in your employees, you invest in your humans, it is a way to make GDP go up or to make more money. You can also invest in your physical capital. So when you invest in your physical capital, you're buying things like factories, tools, machines, more vehicles, cash registers, ovens, or different like refrigerators if you work in food. So businesses buy factories, tools, and machines, and workers are able to produce faster and more effectively so they can make more goods. So more products are made and international trade increases, which makes GDP go up. So if you have more vehicles to get your products out, if you have better cash registers to sell more goods, if you have a better oven to make more baked goods, you can make more of what you're making, and then you can sell more of it, which makes GDP go up, or you make more money. The third way is to invest in entrepreneurs. And remember that an entrepreneur is someone who starts a business, comes up with an idea and starts a business. So the first step is a country's laws make it easier for an entrepreneur to start a business and get investments from citizens. An entrepreneur believes their idea for a new product will earn profit and want to risk their money to resources to start this business. If the business is successful, the entrepreneur will create new products and hire new workers, which creates new jobs, and that means GDP goes up. So both Facebook and Apple are examples of entrepreneurs, Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, who came up with an idea, came up with Apple, came up with Facebook, and put money into this idea, and now they have made a lot of money from it. The TV show Shark Tank is also another example where entrepreneurs or people with ideas go onto the show and sell their ideas for investments. The last way is investment in natural resources. A country has natural resources like coal, timber, gold, iron, anything that can be sold. People and businesses invest their money into mining these resources or getting these resources out of the ground. These natural resources can be sold to businesses within the country or to export to another country. That makes money, which means GDP goes up. Vocabulary review. In the top right-hand part of your screen, you can scan that QR code to study those words on Quizlet. You can open the camera up on your phone or tablet, scan that picture, and it'll automatically open the Quizlet. Economics, the study of how people can earn, or make, earn, or spend money. Traditional economic system. Economic system in which customs or traditions handed down from generation to generation determine how our society is organized to produce, distribute, and consume goods and services. Command economic system. Economic system where the government officials make most of the economic decisions. Market economic system. Economic system where individual consumers, and businesses decide what, how, and how much they will produce and how the products will be distributed. Mixed economic system, a system that combines government control and economic freedom. Gross domestic product or GDP, the total market value of all final goods and services produced annually or yearly in an economy. GDP per capita, which is also GDP per person, the final amount of goods and services produced in a country in 1 year, divided by the number of people in that country. Literacy rate, the percentage of adults in a country who are able to read and write. Invest, put money, time, and resources into something expecting to get something out, like money. Physical capital, investing in the stuff a person needs to do their job, like buildings, factories, machines, and equipment. Human capital, investing in healthcare, education, training, and skills of a country or of a company. Entrepreneur, someone who uses their time and money to start a business. Natural resources. Materials or substances such as mineral, forests, water, timber that occur in nature and can be used to sell for money.